Class 11 First Carnatic War. It was part of and the result of the Australian War of Succession. War was won by the Dupleix, however, in North America. British were victorious, and for France, its American possession was more important. Therefore, under the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, 1748, France regained its possession in North America while British returned Madras. Second Karnataka War 1749 to 54. Dupleix got an opportunity in the form of succession dispute in Hyderabad and Karnataka. In Hyderabad, Nasir Jung versus Muzaffar Jung, and Karnataka, Muhammad Ali versus Chanda Sahib. Dupleix supported Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung as he wanted economic and political benefits after putting his choice of candidate in power. Therefore, British Empire supported Muhammad Ali and Nasir Jung. Dupleix and Bassi on the first phase of 1751, while Robert Clive of British EIC on the second phase by 1754. After first phase, Muzaffar Jung as a declared Nizam of Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib of Ayarkut/Karnataka. Muzaffar Jung was killed on his way from Karnataka to Hyderabad by Nawab of Kurnool, as he had supported Muzaffar Jung but now feared a breach of promise of territory made by the Muzaffar Jung. Now Bassi continued to march to Hyderabad and inflicted colossal terror. He put Salabat Jung in power in Hyderabad and placed a French military for the protection of Nizam. This military was to be paid for by Hyderabad. Therefore, French EIC got northern Sarkars from Hyderabad. Other French gain after first phase. Bassi was stationed as a French agent in Hyderabad court, establishing French political influence in Hyderabad. Personal jagirs for Bassi and £200,000 for French EIC. In Carnatic, huge personal jagir for Dupleix. Dupleix was declared as a Nawab of all land between River Krishna and Cape Camorin, with Chanda Sahib as a Nawab of Ayarkut. After second phase victory by British, Dupleix was recalled by France in 1754 due to high war expenditure. Also, France wanted to honor the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle 1748 to secure its assets in America. Chanda Sahib surrendered but was still beheaded despite the promise of life by Robert Clive. France was allowed to retain territory around Pondicherry, its factors in Karnataka, northern Sarkars, and French agent at Hyderabad court. Muhammad Ali became the Nawab of Karnataka. Therefore, French influence in Hyderabad and British influence in Karnataka was the net result of the Second Karnataka War. Third Karnataka War 1756 to 63, result and part of the 7-year Global War 1756 to 63, fought between British, French and their respective allies. It was fought in Europe, Africa and America and India. Count de Lally arrived from France to lead the French military along with Bassi, who was in charge of northern Sarkars, while Robert Clive played an essential role from the British side. The royal military of Britain and France arrived in India. Why did France lose? Tactical mistake. Bassi left northern Sarkars ungranted to help Lally in Carnatic, leading to the loss of northern Sarkar to the British. Poor leadership of Lally. He was hated among French officials and sepoys due to his rude conduct, which hurt the army's morale. The superior British Navy, the superior financial strength of Britain and British EIC, while France faced the financial difficulty. For example, French soldiers were unpaid for months, which hurt morale. Britain had witnessed growth earlier than France during the Industrial Revolution in Britain, with more significant trade profit as a trading with the more regions and ignore time, whereas feudalism ended in France Navy late. The result of the war was the question of dominance over the international trade in India was decided in British favor. Most decided was the Battle of the Vandivas, and France lost all power including Puducherry. France lost all gain made since 1749 under Dupleix. Therefore, French were restricted to their base. They were barred from fortifying their base and from keeping a strong military. In 1769, French EIC was ended by France. France continued to Chandanagar and Puducherry. The high number of British Royal Military troops arrived in India in favor of EIC, giving EIC the military advantage over Indian state. For example, they left confident enough to start an Battle of Plassey in 1754. Long-term effect of Carnatic War. Post 1757, EIC began maintaining a large army with the help of the loot of Bengal. Now EIC began increasing its political influence and started empire building in 1757. In 1766, Hyderabad gave a northern Sarkar to EIC in return for military protection against Mysore and Marathas. In 1798, Hyderabad became the first state to sign a subsidiary alliance that brought military and foreign policy under EIC. The huge territory of Mysore was annexed by 1799 via the Third and Fourth Anglo-Mysore War and subsidiary alliance signed by the Mysore in 1799. After the death of an Aloi, Muhammad Ali Carnatic was annexed in 1801. In 1805, subsidiary alliance was signed with Travancore. Peshwa signed a subsidiary alliance in 1803 to regain Peshwaship with British help. In the Third Anglo-Maratha War, Maratha lost significant territory, and Sindhya of Gwalior signed a subsidiary alliance. Therefore, EIC began political influence in South India with the Carnatic War and dominated South India politically by the early 19th century. Bengal EIC / Battle of Plassey 1757. The origin of the conflict was Farooq Sir Royal Farman of 1717. It gave EIC the right to duty-free trade in Bengal, Gujarat and Deccan and the right to use the royal mint. It gave a renting of 1838 villages around Calcutta. Murshid Quli Khan allowed duty-free trade to EIC but did not allow misuse of the dastak for private trade by EIC officials. He also did not allow the use of the royal mint and allowed renting of villages but not their purchases by EIC. Therefore, Royal Farman became the origin of the conflict. However, misuse of dastak began and continued. Dastak was a document issued by EIC official that certified a set of goods are EIC goods and therefore entitled to duty-free trade. Therefore, dastak operationalized and operationalized the duty-free trade privileges given by the Royal Farman, and the misuse of dastak implied duty evasion by EIC officials as they wrongly claimed their private trade as a EIC trade. Class 12 Battle of Plassey. Short-term reason: misuse of the dastak and illegal trade. By the 1750s, 100,000 pounds was the quantum of the private trade by the EIC official, which was the 50 times their annual salary. EIC official also sold dastak to non-EIC merchants. Nawab of Bengal lost a huge amount of revenue due to the misuse of dastak, that is the tax/duty evasion. Private trade of EIC official hurt the economic interest of EIC as well, but EIC was unable to control it. Illegal trade: the Charter of EIC gave a monopoly to EIC over British trade. Will all territories to the east of Cape of Good Hope and therefore trade with India by the anyone other than EIC was illegal. For example, private trade of EIC officials and trade by non-official merchants from Britain. Interlopers were non-official British merchants who trade illegally in India. Free merchant trade was also illegal but artificially legalized, and EIC allowed them to settle in EIC establishments if they agreed to act as a middleman between Indian merchants and EIC instead of directly trading with the India. That is, they sold Indian goods to EIC in India instead of exporting themselves. Britain-France rivalry. EIC feared the French and was afraid of the French repeating their succession in Karnataka. Therefore, EIC began adding fortification in Calcutta in 1755 without the permission of Alwardi Khan. EIC official also offered protection to fugitive from the Nawab's court. Therefore, EIC challenged the sovereign authority of the Nawab. However, Alwardi Khan avoided conflict and allowed diplomacy role of Sirajud-Dowla. He acted in the haste and stopped all misuse of dastak, therefore hurting the private trade of EIC officials. When the British gave asylum to Krishna Vallabh, charged with fraud with Siraj, and EIC began a new fortification in Calcutta. Siraj acted. He took over a British factory in Kasim Bazar near Hooghly and attacked and captured Calcutta and renamed it Ali Nagar. Also during this attack, Black Hole tragedy in the Calcutta, thereby 30 British men were killed due to suffocation because of the overcrowding in non-ventilated room. This created huge controversy among the British. Events: Robert Clive arrived with the army from Madras and then defeated Siraj, took back Calcutta and signed a treaty of Ali Nagar with Siraj, which restored all privileges of EIC. Then the British feared the French in Chandanagar and destroyed the Hooghly port, important for the French. Now Jagat Seth and Mir Jafar bribed EIC and Robert Clive, so they replaced Siraj with Mir Jafar as Nawab. Mir Jafar was the war commander of Bengal army. There was a rivalry in the court between merchants, bankers, zamindar and nobles. Siraj was hated due to his disrespectful conduct, and Indian merchants and bankers benefited greatly from their businesses with EIC. Mir Jafar ensured that the Majority of the Bengal army did not fight in the Battle of Plassey in 1757 when EIC attacked. Therefore, Siraj was defeated easily by Robert Clive. Siraj ran away, later captured and killed. Result/significance of Battle of Plassey. Now Mir Jafar was a puppet Nawab of EIC. EIC's military dominance of Bengal began. Therefore, beginning of the political supremacy of EIC in India. Plassey plunder 1757 to 65. To 275,000 pounds to Royal Military for distribution to their members. 2.25 crores rupee to EIC. Personal Jagir for Clive is worth 35,000 pounds per annum and 234,000 pounds in cash to him. From 1757 to 65, 2.5 million pounds were taken by EIC as a political gift from the Nawab of Bengal. A change in the structure of EIC trade. Now gold was no more needed by Britain to buy Indian goods, as Indian money was now used. To buy Indian goods. Indian gold was used to buy Chinese goods and Indian gold was taken to Britain. Therefore, from gold outflow pre-1757, now there was gold and wealth inflow to Britain. Therefore, drain of wealth from India began after 1757. This also led to huge dip in Bengal revenue. Now, rampant misuse of Dastak and EIC officials made personal fortunes. Example, Clive, governor of Calcutta Presidency. When Mir Jafar could not pay any more to EIC, he was replaced with his son-in-law Mir Qasim by the EIC. Battle of Buxar 1764. Background. Mir Qasim was an efficient administrator and wanted independence from EIC control. Therefore, shifted his base from Murshidabad to Bihar to be physically away from the British. He gathered money and started building his army. To get the support of Indian merchants to abolish all taxes on domestic trade, therefore bringing parity between Indian merchants and British trade who did not pay any taxes when they did domestic trade through their Indian agents called Gamut Shah. This hurt revenue of Bengal, but Qasim wanted the support of Indian merchants. EIC did not like this aspect of the independence in Qasim and thus defeated the replaced Qasim with Mir Jafar. Now Qasim escaped with wealth to Awadh and built an alliance with Mir Sijaud-Dowla, Nawab of Awadh, and Shah Alam II, Mughal emperor, who was in Awadh. Fugitive Prince Shah Alam II escaped Delhi due to fear of life from Imad-ul-Mulk, Wazir and a grandson of Nizam-ul-Mulk. He was also frustrated with Delhi court politics and wanted to build his kingdom in the east, that is Bengal, which had stopped sending revenue to Delhi since Alawardi Khan. Sujaud-Dowla agreed to a promise of 30 million rupees Bihar and its treasury for Awadh. Lack of modern nationalism, reason for defeat. A tactical mistake by Shuja, who followed an offensive strategy rather than more appropriate defensive strategy of cutting off the supply lines of EIC army in Buxar, and he also ignored an advice of Qasim. Therefore, Hector Munro emerged victorious, and now EIC sent Clive from London to India to negotiate the Treaty of Allahabad. The Treaty of Allahabad 1765, EIC treated Shah Alam II with respected as he lay sovereignty of Indian and with him on their said EIC could have gathered influence in India. The Treaty of Allahabad was signed between Robert Clive of EIC and Shah Alam II and Sujaud Dowla. EIC promised a tribute of 26 lakh rupees slash annum per annum to the emperor, although ever gave this help. EIC promised Shah Alam II military help to uh, recapture Delhi, which was under Rohilla Afghan since 1761, although never helped recapture Delhi. Treaty of Allahabad. Treaty of Allahabad and Bengal. EIC got Diwani from Odisha, Bengal and Bihar. That is Revenue Administration and Revenue of Bengal Suba. Therefore, the first time EIC took over a sovereign function. Therefore, EIC got a additional source of the income in form of revenue from of its richest province of India. The dual government 1765 to 72 of the Bengal. Legally, Diwani Revenue Administration was given to the EIC and Nizamat non-revenue administration with the Nawab of Bengal. The policy of indirect rule was initiated to Bengal as a Nawab of Bengal become a puppet of EIC as a British resident, now the stationed in court. The British resident in 1772 become the actual center of power. EIC also got the right to appoint a deputy subedar who headed the Nizamat and on the behalf of Nawab. Therefore, they brought him the EIC indirectly controlled Nizamat. Therefore, in a practice of EIC got full control of the Bengal, that is Diwani as well as Nizamat. Legally, dual government from the 1765 to 1702. The practically EIC can rule the legally in the Diwani as indirectly in the Nizamat, but did not as a EIC appointed Deputy Subedar Muhammad Reza Khan who headed or ruled Nizamat on the behalf of the Nawab, also as a Diwan of EIC. Therefore, the Indian administration under the Indian Deputy Subedar continued till 1772. The dual government was ended due to the Washing law of the order and Warren Hastings wanted to improve the administration. Therefore, the EIC established direct rule of its own in the both Diwani and Nizamat in 1772. Treaty of Allahabad and Awadh. Shuja was made to the pay 5 million rupees. Shuja was now a puppet and a British resident could now be stationed in Awadh court. The policy of the ring fence was initiated by the Clive but was associated mainly with the Warren Hastings. The policy of the ring fence meant the creating a buffer around the core interest regions of EIC by the signing a military alliance with the neighbors. A military alliance was signed between Awadh and EIC. Therefore, now the EIC would use Awadh military resources for the protection of EIC interest in Bengal. Awadh come under the military control of the EIC as an EIC army stationed in Awadh permanently, as it was to be paid for the Awadh in the form of the annual subsidy duty free trade in Awadh. Therefore, the treaty was Allahabad with the Awadh was a mini subsidiary alliance less subsidiary subordinate alliance. It was a policy initiated by Wellesley. There was a ban on the imperial expansion by the Pitt's India Act because of the huge war expenditure by EIC. Therefore, the British wanted to consolidate gain made from this war and prevent war expenditure. Therefore, now the EIC was the follow the policy of indirect rule and maintained the balance of power among the Indian state. Wellesley was an empire builder and had a huge personal political ambition in the British policy. He gave the policy of indirect rule and balance of the power and reinitiated the policy of expansion. The convinced the British government by the overplaying the fear of the Napoleon attacking Indian after the allying with the Indian state like Mysore. Napoleon attacked Egypt in the 1798 in control the Middle East and hurt the British trade by the dominating the Arab Sea. He also had the ambition of re-establishing French influence over the Indian and was in the communication with Tipu. However, there was no real threat of the French invading India, and the British knew it. Still, the government agreed to Wellesley as the primary goal of the British foreign policy was to protect India from the European rivals. Wellesley found the middle path of the form of subsidiary alliance that lead to the supremacy over the Indian state without annexation. The model treaty of the subsidiary alliance, the British protection to the Indian state against its neighbors and also against it the internal threat of law and order instability. For East EIC stationed it the military permanently in the Indian state to pay for the maintenance of EIC army stationed in the form of annual subsidy. A British resident stationed in the court of an Indian ruler. British consent was needed for the stationing any European in court. Indian state must consult Governor General with the engaging with the Indian rulers of the foreign power. The promise of the non-interference by EIC in the internal affairs of the Indian state. Impact of the subsidiary alliance on the Indian state. There was a drain of wealth in the form of the subsidiary to EIC, and the subsidy was given. EIC gradually increased the amount of subsidiary demand. Now the EIC could maintain a large army at the expense of the Indian state as a money for this large armies come in form of a subsidy. At the time ruler gave the territory to EIC as a payment of subsidy. For the example, in 1801 half of Awadh was given. There was a loss of a job for military men as the army of the Indian state was disbanded. Indian ruler had the raise of the taxes to the pay the subsidy and on the made him the unpopular. Peasant come under the operation of the high land revenue and his increased the chances of peasant revolt. Indian rulers were the accused of maladministration while they had no powers as the British did not respect the promise of the non-interference in internal affairs, and the British resident established their indirect rule. Indian state lost power to the settle border dispute with each other. Therefore, now could not unite as a lost control over the foreign policy. They also lost the ability to self-defense as they had to disband their armies. Hyderabad was to be first to sign a subsidiary alliance in 1798 due to the fear of Maratha and the Mysore. The significant treaty of Mysore after the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War in 1799, and Mysore signed a subsidiary alliance in 1799. In 1701, Karnataka was annexed after the death of EIC ally Muhammad Ali in 1795. In 1801, Awadh signed a subsidiary alliance and half of the Awadh was annexed as a permanent payment of subsidy. In the 1802, Gaikwad of Baroda signed a subsidiary alliance in return of EIC help in a succession dispute. In 1800, Peshwa Bajirao II signed a subsidiary alliance in return of EIC help in region Peshwaship after he was removed by the Holkar of Indore. After the defeat in the Second Anglo-Maratha War, the Scindia of Gwalior signed a subsidiary alliance and the significant treaty of the Maratha Sardar annexed by the EIC. In 1805, Travancore signed a subsidiary alliance in return for the military help and suppressed a revolt by the Nayar troops due to the low salary. Wellesley was recalled in 1805 due to the high war expenditure. Class 14th Anglo-Mysore War. Reason for animosity between the Mysore versus EIC Hyderabad Maratha and Travancore. Mysore wanted to dominate the whole of South India politically, therefore rivalry with the Indian neighbors. The Mysore wanted to dominate the trade of South India, and this was against the interest of EIC. Therefore, a rise of Mysore as a political, military and the mercantilistic fulfillment of the profit motive via the trade powers threatened the British. Mysore followed the policy of military fiscalism, which was similar to the policy followed by the EIC. Mysore used the resources for land revenue and the trade to modernize its military with the help of the French. Therefore, the East competed with the EIC in core of interesting area of EIC, thus the treated to EIC. In the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, the usually Hyderabad and Maratha fought on the side of EIC, except in the 1780-82 when there was an alliance between Maratha, Hyderabad and Mysore against EIC. Nana Fadnavis was the first to realize the political ambition of the EIC in India. Therefore, they took initiative to create the above alliance. First Anglo-Maratha and also was the second Anglo-Maratha war in 1780-1784, while the Hyderabad was turning against the EIC as the EIC took over the Guntur. However, EIC soon settled the dispute by the returning Guntur to Hyderabad and signed the Treaty of Salbai in 1782 that ended the war with the Maratha and creating the military alliance between EIC and Maratha. Therefore, the breaking of an alliance of the Indian power and the replacing with the Triple Alliance of EIC, Hyderabad Maratha by 1782. Also, the aggressive foreign policy of Tipu contributed to the isolation of Mysore. Reason for four Anglo-Mysore War. In the second Mysore War, 1762-69 and 1780-84, status quo was the maintained territorially. And therefore, Mysore lost the roughly half the treaty to EIC. Maratha and the Hyderabad in the third Anglo-Mysore War was 1789-92. Malabar Brahmal Dindigul. Further major losses of treaty in the fourth Anglo-Mysore was when the Tipu died defending his treaty. Capital Srirangpatnam and the Wadiyar dynasty was restored the power, and the subsidiary alliance was signed with the more in 1799. EIC focused on the taking over the coastal area like the Malabar, Kanara and surrounding Mysore, Travancore. It in 1800 a British resident was stationed in Travancore. Therefore, EIC influence began in after the strike rule of Martanda Varma and Rama Varma ended. In 1805, there was a revolt by the Nayar troops due to grievances related to salaries, and Travancore signed a subsidiary alliance in return for the military help in EIC. However, the promise of non-interference in internal affairs was not kept by the British resident. Therefore, 1809, Diwan Velu Thampi revolted with the help of peasant and the Nayar troops, and this revolt was crushed. Karnataka. In the 1801, Karnataka was annexed by the Wellesley after the death of Muhammad Ali. Anglo-Maratha War. The first Anglo-Maratha War in 1775-82. Second Anglo-Maratha War in 1803-05. Third Anglo-Maratha War in 1817-19. Importance of Deccan for British. The large coastal area that is the west coast with the Maratha Konkan coast and the same Malabar coast. The high cotton trade with China from the Gujarat. First Anglo-Maratha War in 1775-82. Reason: Raghunath Rao was removed as a Peshwa in the Barbhai conspiracy by Nana Fadnavis. Also, as Raghunath Rao had become a Peshwa after the killing of Narayan Rao. Now Raghunath Rao wanted to EIC in Bombay and signed the Treaty of Surat that led to the first Anglo-Maratha War. Treaty of Surat 1775. The governor of Bombay Presidency of EIC agreed to help the Raghunath Rao to regain Peshwaship, and in return Raghunath Rao promised the Salsette and Basin near Bombay. Event: after the Regulating Act of 1773 by the British Parliament, governors of the Bombay and Madras were the subordinated to the Governor General of Bengal in the matter of the war and peace, except in emergency circumstance where they could act as independently. Therefore, Governor of Bombay acted as independently by the signing the Treaty of Surat. To prevent war expenditure, Governor General of Bombay overthrown the Treaty of Surat and negotiated a Treaty of Porbandar. EIC recognized Madhav Rao II as a Peshwa, and EIC got Salsette and Basin, the Maratha, to not allow the French any position in their dominion. However, Nana Fadnavis gave the French a port. Therefore, the treaty could not be finalized and war resumed. By the 1782, British were defeated as a contributory factor was to the alliance between the Indian powers. However, it was an inclusive victory. Therefore, the Maratha signed a treaty of Salbai, whereby war was ended, and the Marathas got back their treaty with EIC. British recognized the Madhav Rao II as a Peshwa. British retained Salsette, and the French to not allow any position. Raghunath Rao was pensioned of Second Anglo-Maratha War 1803 to 05. The background: due to high war expenditure, the Pitt India Act of 1784 banned imperial expansion, but this policy changed with the Wellesley. In 1802, Wellesley signed a subsidiary alliance with the Gaikwad of Baroda in return for the help in the succession dispute. Reason for war: Wellesley was an empire builder. Fractionalism rose in Marathas polity after the suicide of Peshwa Madhav Rao due to over-controlling Nana Fadnavis and the increased opposition in Nana's. Bajirao II, son of Raghunath Rao, wanted to remove the influence of Nana Fadnavis. In 1800, Nana Fadnavis, who would have kept the Maratha Sardar, died. Therefore, fractionalism increased further. In 1802, Holkar of Indore defeated Scindia and also Bajirao II. Now the Bajirao II went to the EIC to regain the Peshwaship of the signed a Treaty of Basin 1803, whereby he signed a subsidiary alliance with the EIC. Now the Second Anglo-Maratha War began. Result: EIC was the victorious in the war. Subsidiary alliance signed with the Scindias. Scindias lost the territory north of Yamuna, including Delhi and Agra and all his part in Gujarat. The Bhosle of Nagpur lost Orissa to EIC. Tributaries of Maratha: those who pay the annual tribute, like Jats, Bundels, Rajputs, and the Rohillas, signed a subsidiary alliance with EIC. Due to high war expenditure, Wellesley was recalled, and the Cornwallis again met the Governor General of Bengal with the clear instruction to follow the policy of non-interference and no expansion, the policy of paramountcy. 1813. It means the henceforth the new policy of paramountcy was initiated by Hastings. The British were to be the significant supreme power among all over the forces in India. Therefore, British interests were to be paramount, and to be protect these paramount interests, British to have the right to interfere in the internal affair of Indian state, and even the right to annex Indian state. Therefore, from the 1813, Indian state were to be have no right to British interest demanded. So, Indian state had right to overturn affair in the subsidiary alliance. Therefore, paramountcy was a subsidiary alliance, less any right for the Indian state. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1870 to 19. Reason for war: the policy of paramountcy again gave a push to imperial expansion. Since 1803, the subsidiary alliance Peshwa Bajirao II was the puppet of the EIC, and he now wanted to regain independence from the EIC control. Also, the policy of non-interference in 1805 allowed the Maratha Sardar to consolidate power and feel the confident militarily. Therefore, the Bajirao II allied with the Maratha to the overthrow British dominance at the Third Anglo-Maratha War began. Result of the war: EIC was the victorious in the war. Peshwaship was abolished. Therefore, the Peshwa Bajirao II was the last Peshwa. The Maratha, which is the Swarajya, was annexed by the British. A subsidiary alliance was signed with the Holkar and Bhosle had lost significant treaty to EIC. Therefore, by 1819, EIC has total control over the territory south of the Vindhyas. Annexation of Awadh. Dalhousie. He implemented and used the policy of paramountcy and expand the British Empire in India. He annexed the territories in the following ways: annexing territory instead of payment of subsidy, for example, Berar from Hyderabad in 1853, and by the fighting war of an example, Second Anglo-Sikh War, that led to the annexation of Punjab via doctrine of lapse, which was the product of the policy of paramountcy. Under his, those estate was annexed where there was an legal there that is no biological heir of rulers. The annexation was justified as an nuclear line of succession could lead to political unstability due to succession dispute, therefore putting British interest under the threat. Example of such annexation under the doctrine of lapse as Sambhal 1849, Bhagat 1850, Satara 1848, Udaipur 1852, and Nagpur 1853 and Jhansi 1854. To protect the British paramount interest for the maladministration in Awadh, he annexed Awadh in 1856. To safeguard British paramount interest for the Treaty of the Neighbours, power to fought and on the Second Burma War and annexed the Pegu in Lower Burma. Second Anglo-Sikh War is prevented and possibility of Russian influence in India via Afghanistan. Class 15. Annexation of Awadh. Treaty of Awadh was a form of the subsidiary alliance, but a constraint shape was given a Wellesley at 9805 when the formal subsidiary alliance treaty was signed in 1801. Awadh was important and 350 of indigo cultivation was the Awadh, plus importance of the export of Awadh raw cotton to China. The subsidy demanded under the Treaty of Allahabad 1765 was gradually increased by the EIC to the compensate for the high war expenditure. The rival of the Wellesley 9805, he interfered in succession of Awadh after the death of Asaf ud Daula 7597. EIC refused to accept his son Wazir Ali 9798 as Nawab and made uncle Saad Ali Khan second Nawab in 1798 in return of some treaty and the 76 lakh rupee as annual subsidy. The conflict across with the Sadat Ali Khan II due to interference by the British resident plus misuse of the Dastak since 1765 plus Nawab defaulted on the payment of subsidy in the 1801. Therefore now the Richard Wellesley 9805 sent his brother Henry to impose a subsidiary alliance on Awadh in 1801 plus half of Awadh was annexed as a permanent payment of subsidy. LR from this treaty is equal to 1.3 crore versus justified the decided 76 lakh. Therefore, EIC annexed Gorakhpur and Rohilkhand Doab. Despite permanent payment of subsidy, EIC continued to demand more than money, and therefore the Nawab was forced to increase the taxes and become the unpopular among the zamindars and peasants. Plus, the operation of the peasant due to high land revenue. Therefore, fear of the peasant revolted by the 1855 plus by the 1855 British resident become the real center of the power. For example, held this informal court, therefore the degrading the status of Nawab. Now Dalhousie 4856 accused Nawab of maladministration. Nawab Ajid Ali Shah, while in reality, high subsidy demand was the responsible for the situation, but the Nawab had no powers and all responsibility as a British resident established in indirect rule. In 1856, Dalhousie annexed the rest of the Awadh on the grounds of maladministration to protect British paramount interests of the trade and the businesses in Awadh. The Anglo-Sikh Wars. Background. As per the policy of ring fence, the British also wanted to establish frontiers to ensure the protection of the British Empire from the foreign invasion. If a neighboring power threatened the frontier or the frontier state become weak, then the British acted and annexed the frontier state or tried to establish indirect rule in the border Indian state or the immediate neighborhood of Indian, example Afghanistan. Make a reason for First Anglo-Sikh War 1845. After the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh 0139, the factionalism increased in Punjab polity with the rivalry between the Sindhyawalas, Misl chiefs, Dogras from Jammu, Poor Wazir, the Khalsa army and princes from the royal families. Also there were succession dispute and the political murders. Plus, there was a rise of the Khalsa army as the political power in Sikh polity talked about the idea of the rule of panchayat and which threatened the British. Therefore, the political instability in the frontier state plus rise of Khalsa army as per political player led to the action by the British in the form of First Anglo-Sikh War, and there was British plus Dogras versus Sikh state G.G.I. Harding 1844-48 result. The lead to the humiliating Treaty of Lahore 1846 where the first the size of the Khalsa army was decreased and an EIC army was stationed. EIC annexed the Jalandhar Doab. Kashmir was given to Raja Gulab Singh Dogra of Jammu. The Maharaja Dilip Singh 43-49 is now to be advised by the British resident that is the policy of indirect rule was initiated. There was another treaty in December 1846 whereby the mother of Dilip Singh was removed as a regent and the regency. The council headed by the British resident was set up. Therefore, the British controlled the military and the internal administration. The Second Anglo-Sikh War 1848-49 by Dalhousie 48-46. Reason 2 Sikh chief governor revolted against the British plus Dalhousie 48-56 an empire builder. Result is equal to full annexation of Punjab, expansionism of British. With the empire building the core of the kept the expanding the leading to the new fears about the protecting the core of the leading to the further empire building. Therefore, the 19th century saw the series of the annexation and the war by the British proof. First Burma War 1824-28. Reason Bengal frontier was under the threat due to the expansionist Burma in the 18th and 19th century. Burma had made the Manipur, Kasar and then Assam its sphere in influence in the 19th century. plus after the 6 year of no war after and third Anglo-Maratha War 1817 to 19, the EIC army wanted something, therefore argued that expansion by the Burma inspiring Indian rulers against the EIC, and this led to first Anglo-Burma War 1824 to 28. The result, Treaty of Yandobao, Assam and Nagaland annexed plus Arkan, Tensarine and Lower Burma annexed. Later in 1830, Kasar annexed. Coorg was annexed in 1848. Coorg became the first coffee producing areas. First Afghan War 1838 to 42. The reason is equal to fear of Russian, that is the northwestern frontier. Result is equal to British established the indirect rule in Afghanistan. Sindh was annexed in 1843. Annexation by the Dalhousie Sambhalpur in 1849. Bhagat in 1850, Udaipur in 1852, Nagpur in 1853 and Jhansi in 1854. Second Burma War 1852 to 53 annexed Pegu. In the 1853 Berar of the Hyderabad was annexed instead of the subsidiary under the subsidiary alliance 1798. In 1856 the annexation of Awadh was an grants of the maladministration. No more annexation were done after the revolt of 1857 by the 1857 Indian British Indian indirect rule of the EIC, and it was 67% of treaty and 78% of population. On the rest were the 556 princely estate indirectly ruled by via policy of paramountcy. Revolt of 1857. Question: What began as a fight for the religion ended as a war of independence, as there is no doubt that rebel wanted to get rid of the alliance government and restore the old order of which the King of Delhi was to rightful representatives. Do you support this view? 1857 revolt, Sepoy mutiny plus civil rebellion / uprising. Reason: the grievances of Sepoy. Services related: A. Discrimination between the Indian Sepoy and the European Sepoy in the salaries and pension. B. There was a focus on building an uniform military culture by the British and the increase in the financial expenditure which is contributed to the grievances of Sepoy. C. The compensate for the high war expenditure, there was a decrease in the salaries of Sepoy. In the 1856, there was an end of allowance for the services outside. There was a reason which causes grievances among the Sepoy. Social religious. A. There was a high racism towards the Indian Sepoy. For example, they are usually referred to as a Suars/pigs. B. There was a Christian missionary in the barracks which created the fear of conversion among the Indian Sepoys. Since the 1813 Chartered Act, there was a focus on the westernization of India, including the spread of Christianity in India. D. Also, British now tried to develop a uniform culture in the army as it would lead to better control over the Sepoy, increase unity among the Sepoy over the time, increase loyalty to create and religion, and increase the commitment to the employers. E. There was also a rumors of mixing cow and pig bone dust with flour, and rumors of cartridges of the new infield rifle that replaced brown base musket having the graces made of the cow and pig fat, and they were to be beaten off before loading. Political reasons. E. Awadh was annexed in 1856. Agrarian economic grievances. A. Sepoy was a peasant in uniform since he came from the peasant family and therefore was hurt by the loss of family land to the British government due to the high land revenue and it to the moneylenders due to the independence. B. Also now the rural population joined, therefore the Sepoy mutiny was followed by the civil rebellion. Reason for civil rebellion: the feudal element slash Raja slash nobility. A. Losses of kingdom due to annexation by the British by the application of the doctrine of lapse or taking over the Awadh on the grounds of maladministration lead to grievances among the dispossessed ruler. P. There was annexation. These annexation were done in the line with the policy of paramountcy. Example: Satara 1848, Nagpur, Sambhalpur, Bhagat 1850, and Udaipur 1852, Jhansi 1853. And do lapse. Doctrine of lapse. Along with Nawab, entire aristocracy was negatively affected. Therefore, these disposed princes offered leadership. Big land owners slash talukadar slash zamindars. A. Application of Malwari settlement in northwest provinces and the Awadh lead to the loss of the land for the talukadars was to this system. Land to ownership in the many cases was given to the actual cultivator, leading to the loss of personal estate for the talukadars. Therefore, in the lead to the loss of their economic status. B. British focused on the building a strong centralized state, and therefore the private fort and the private armies to the talukadar was disbanded, leading to the loss of military status. Now there was to be the rule of the now under the British that the equal before the law, which hurted their social status, and therefore talukadar provided leadership to the peasant. Artisan, yeah, peasant. A. Artisan were the utterly destroyed by the British made machinery as the machine produces a cheaper and better quality product. B. Peasant, high land revenue and the independence to the money lenders, which lead to the landlessness. Religion, the whole rural society had the fear that their religion is under threat. A. Since 1813 there was an inflow of Christian missionary and there was a war forced conversion under the police protection. B. The social religious reform of the British, for example the Widow Remarriages Act 1856, escalated that fear of the British wanted to destroy traditional custom and religious practices. C. They gave the right to interference to those who converted to Christianity and therefore the escalated religion conversion. D. British began taxing revenue-free land to religious sects, mosques and the temple, and therefore the Hindus and Muslims both felt a threat to their religion, and Pandits and Maulvis appeared threatened against the British among the people. There was a common feeling among the Indians that British rule in the immoral due to all the above mentioned grievances, and therefore the goal of the 1857 revolt was to restore the pre-British order, political, economic, social and religious agent. The Sadhus and Maulvis were the agent of the spreading threat against the British. कैसे तू मुझे मिल गई, किस्मत पे आए ना यकीन. Thank you.